While we have to wait until March of next year in order to play the finale in Kratos' trilogy, Sony is giving PlayStation 3 owners a refresher course in the God of War franchise with the God of War collection. This compilation includes both God of War 1 and 2, though not the PSP release Chains of Olympus, as porting that would have been a completely different process. Regardless of that, if you haven't already played either of the PS2 releases, or want to play them again in order to get ready for God of War 3, this is just what the doctor ordered.
Do not forget that it was I who made you a god, Ghost of Sparta.
I owe you nothing.
Like I said, what you're getting in the collection is both God of War 1 and 2 in their entirety, including all of the bonus features that ship with each game. None of the behind-the-scenes stuff was shot in HD, and some of it actually looks kind of bad now, but the content is still great. For the game itself, there are sort of two big deals here. The first is that the games are playable on any PlayStation 3, backwards compatible or not, as they were ported over to actual PS3 code. The other thing is that the games now run in full HD, and they've never looked better. The actual content wasn't touched a bit, so the models, textures, animations, and all of that are exactly the same as they were before, but the increased output resolution makes it look much more crisp, as you can imagine. The games also now run at a smooth 60 frames per second, with none of the screen tearing that we saw originally, which is great. The only bad part about the translation to the PS3 is that only the gameplay was affected. None of the pre-rendered movies were touched, so there's a pretty obvious difference when the game jumps between the two. The CG footage still looks pretty good, but the scenes that were made with the in-game assets look pretty bad in comparison to the gameplay now. In terms of actual gameplay, there really isn't anything that's changed since the content was really untouched. There are trophies to earn now with a separate set for each game, so you get a platinum for each of them, but that's about the only new stuff you'll see here. One thing you might notice if you've played the original PS2 releases lately is that the gameplay does feel a hair smoother thanks to the increased frame rate. It's not a huge difference, and if you haven't played the originals in a while you might not notice it, but there is a subtle and nice difference. Really, if you haven't played God of War 1 or 2, this is the perfect opportunity for you to do so now. The games have never looked better, and as the content was untouched, there's no reason to stick with the PS2 versions. For $40 you'll get two of the best action games ever made, which is one of the best bargains you'll find anywhere in gaming. For the full written review, head over to IGN.com.